Hi there. Today we are going to talk about Egyptian mythology. Gods, deities, demigods, pharaohs. So, let's start. Nun, also spelled Nu, the first Egyptian god and father of Ra. Nun's name means primeval waters, and he represented the waters of chaos out of which Ra Atum began creation. Ra, he was the king of deities and the father of all creation. He was not only the deity who governed the actions of the sun, he could also be the physical sun itself, as well as the day. Atum, he is a primeval cosmic god and the sun god as creator, the substance from which all creation unfurled. He is the lord of the universe. Amon, he is the god of air. He may have originally been one of the 8 deities of the Hermopolite creation myth. His cult spread to Thebes. His cult was the most powerful one from all the Egyptian gods. Mut, or Ma'ut, was the mother goddess and wife of Amon. Her name means mother. Mut had many different aspects and attributes that changed and evolved a lot over the thousands of years in Egypt. Khnum, also called Khnemu, he is the god of fertility associated with water and with procreation. He was also called father of fathers in ancient Egypt. Neith, she is the goddess of war and weaving. She was the creator of the world and mother of Ra. As the goddess of hunting, she has sharper reflexes and senses than most of the gods. She was also called Mother of Mothers in ancient Egypt. Satet, she is the goddess of archery. Her name means to shoot or to throw. She, along with Khnum, formed part of the Elephantine triad. She wears a headjet, which means a white cap with 2 horns of a gazelle. Siriket, she is the goddess of protection associated with scorpions. She was one of the underworld deities charged with protecting the canopic jar in which the intestines of the deceased were stored after embalming. She is the first daughter of Khnum. Anuket, she is the patron deity of the Nile River. She wears a crown of reeds and ostrich feathers and accompanied by a gazelle. She was originally a Nubian deity. She is the second daughter of Khnum. Sobek, he is the crocodile-headed god and king of the river Nile. His chief sanctuary in Fayum province included a sacred crocodile, Petsuchos, in whom the god was believed to be incarnate. He is the first child of Khnum. Ptah, he is also a creator god and maker of things, a patron of craftsmen, especially sculptors. He was said to be the creator of all things, including other creator gods. He was also called King of Memphis. Sekhmet, she is the wife of Ptah and goddess of war and the destroyer of the enemies of Ra, the sun god. She was associated with both the disease and with healing and medicine. Bastet, she is the cat goddess of home, domesticity, fertility, and childbirth. She protects the home from evil and disease. She is one of the daughters of Ra. Hathor, she is the goddess of woman, fertility, sky, and love. The name Hathor means estate of forest and may not be her original name. Ma'at, also called Mayet, she is the personification of truth, justice, and the cosmic order. The daughter of Ra, she was associated with Thoth, god of wisdom. Konsu, also spelled Khons, he is the moon god who was generally depicted as a youth, a deity with astronomical associations named Kenzu, as is possibly the name as Konsu. Shu, he is the god of air and supporter of the sky, creator by Atum. Shu and his wife Tefnut were the first couple of the group of 9 gods called the Ennead of Heliopolis. Tefnut. She is a deity of moisture, moist air, dew, and rain. She is the mother of Geb and Nut. She holds the sun disk on her head. Imhotep. He was considered the inventor of healing. Soon after his death, he was worshipped as a demigod, and 2000 years later, he was elevated as god of medicine and healing. Nefertem. He was originally a lotus flower at the creation of the world, who had arisen from primal water. He used to help Ra by passing him the sun. He heals the wounds of Ra and was aged with a water lily. Geb. He is god of the earth. He is depicted as laying under Shu's legs along with his sister Nut. Nut. She is goddess of the sky and night. She is depicted in a cat-like position and stands over Shu's head along with her brother Geb. Kadesh. She was originally a Semitic deity and the goddess of nature, beauty, and sexual pleasure. Her husband Reshep was actually a Syrian deity. Reshep, also called Rasap or Reshpu, was a Syrian plague and war god. Because of his martial arts skills, he was closely associated with the pharaoh in battle. Wadjet. She was the snake goddess of childbirth and protector of children, and in later years she became the protector of kings or pharaohs. Nekhbet. She was the vulture goddess who was the protector of Upper Egypt and especially its rulers. She was frequently portrayed as spreading her wings over the pharaoh while grasping in her claw the cartouche symbol or other emblems. Min. He is the god of harvest, embodiment of masculine principle. He was represented naked, holding his erect penis by his one hand and a flail by his other hand. Osiris. He was the god of the underworld. He also symbolized death, resurrection, and the cycle of Nile floods that Egypt relied on for agricultural fertility. Osiris was a king who was murdered and dismembered by his brother Set. Isis, also called Aset. She was the daughter of Geb and Nut, and the sister of Osiris, Set, and Nephthys. She is the goddess of healing and magic. When her husband Osiris was murdered, she brought him back to life by spreading her wings. Nephthys, she is the goddess of air and the head of the world. She also represents time. She often carries an hourglass on her head. She is the wife of Set. Set, he is the trickster, lord of the desert, and master of storms, destruction, and warfare. He was the killer of Osiris and was antagonistic to Horus. Horus, also called Heru. He was a falcon god and the son of Osiris and Isis. His right eye was the sun or morning star, and his left eye was the moon or evening star. He took revenge and killed his uncle Seth. Anubis. He was the god of death and the son of Seth and Nephthys. In the early dynastic period and the Old Kingdom, he enjoyed a preeminent position as Lord of the Dead, but he was later overshadowed by Osiris. Anput. She is the female counterpart of Anubis. She was considered as the goddess of the deserts and 17th nome of Upper Egypt. Khepri, also called Khepera. He is a scarab beetle-faced god who by extension can also represent creation and the renewal of life. Hapi. He is the god of personification of the annual inundation of the Nile River. The flooding of River Nile deposited rich silt, which means fertile soil, on the river's banks, allowing the Egyptians to grow crops. Thoth. He is the god of wisdom, reckoning, learning, and writing. He was held to be the inventor of writing, languages, and a scribe. He also holds the moon on his head. He is an assistant of Osiris. Seshat. She is the wife of Thoth and the goddess of writing and measurement and the rule of books. She, along with Thoth, were both divine scribes. She wears a headband with horns and a star. Taweret. She is a bipedal hippopotamus and the goddess of motherhood and childbirth. Her hand rests on the Sa sign, a hieroglyph that means protection. Bes, also called Bisu. He is the god of dwarfs. He is depicted with a large head, goggle eyes, protruding tongue, bow legs, bushy mustache, and with a crown of feathers. Heket. She is the frog-headed goddess of flood, water, and fertility. She also holds an ankh on her one hand and a lotus with her other hand.